Now we'll move our focus into another big encounter, round 1, heat 7, featuring Adrian Ace Buchan up in the top 10 discussion on the Jeep leaderboard, takes on Stu Kennedy and Jeremy Flores by the athletes all season long. And while we were away at break, we faced straight into this from Jeremy so early on.
Wow, Jeremy Flores again, true local here. And very wise decision, trying to just pin that lip to finish it off.
The bigger picture of the year. You see Stu Kennedy now showing interest in his opener. And he'll go straight to the hand stall, a little behind the curtain. He'll release now, change the pace. And for a moment, Ross and I were thinking he was going to fight his way out of that, but it will be an incomplete. So a little throwaway score for Stu Kennedy, which means the beach of the naked bottom. I'll leave it at that. Won't see any of that today with the temperatures not that high, but here we go. Ace Buchan will want to set the heat on this, and he's behind the curtain for a beautiful thread. So out on the face now, surgical lines from Ace Buchan every time he gets his rails in, and that's going to be a nice number for Ace to accept from the judging panel.
Scores with maneuvers, but this is the X factor right here. These lefts, you know, they really like that tide to drop out, you know, and it's starting to shape up. Very great, you know, it was a great decision there from Ace Buchan. He avoided the first part of that barrel gigs, and it paid off because there was just a little bit of a pinch in it. So that patience paid off because he pulled into the second portion of that barrel, and it stayed wide open, which allowed him to get out of there.
Beautiful high line drive to the thread, and Ace Buchan, well, think about his performances. You do think of the lefts. Running that very tricky commissioner role here, especially at this stop, Ross.
It's no bargain to be commissioned. Here we go. Looks like Ace Buchan's found another left-hander gigs.
Ace deep off the bottom into the top section. What about that for a set of angles? It'll go incomplete.
He speaks French. I think he's very comfortable here. He enjoys it. As we see a replay here of Jeremy Flores getting a quick barrel as that thing shut down. That's some of those funky rights we were talking about that go into that deep water that pinches. But, you know, Ace settles in at the back end of the tour. A lot of guys get tired. You know, it's a long road out here on tour. There's 11 events. You're traveling all year long. That was a beautiful tailside, by the way, from Ace. It's too bad he didn't hold on to that.
Backup waves, and well, Stu Kennedy left out of the discussion at this stage. As I say that, Ace Buchan will look to drop the 1.37. That was a big squared up turn. It'll just be the one opportunity, though, as the tide really is puzzling the lineup. Finishes, of course, falling to Owen Wright last year for that 9th place finish. Meanwhile, Ace Buchan in the sunlight now in France with a beautiful open wrap. This left is going to wait for him. He'll come around the corner. Nice little drift again. Subtleties from Ace Buchan here. He'll make the link. You see the whole new horseshoe coming at him. And as I say that, he'll square it up and go incomplete. Stu Kennedy, lovely little approach to the backhand entry to the tube. And he'll force his way out for Stu Kennedy on that opening stop. Then a little bit of a bumpy ride. How's this ride for him?
Well, good technique, dragging that front knee, slowing himself down, trying to get in that barrel. And he did get a bit of cover time, but you saw that exit. It was just a little mushy, not super exciting. It wasn't a really training barrel. That was a textbook, beautiful carve there. And a second one with a little bit of tail release there from Adrian Buchan. One of my favorite styles on tour. I absolutely love the way Ace looks when he's on a wave. He makes it look so easy.
Found better than a 9th place finish. I'm going to stay here with Ace Buchan, who's going to thread the tube. This is another deep one. Question marks. Well, we held our breath there momentarily as that wave does its own breathing all over Ace Buchan. We're talking Jeremy Flores. He'll want to answer. Jeremy will have to spill out on that. Another big event for the woman. And we'll go split peak opportunity here, and Ace will thread behind the curtain here in France again. And that is a big tight wrap. Beautiful application to the rail there. G-forces all over it, but going the other way, Stu Kennedy. And Stu Kennedy will fall victim to that little spill. And we'll see if Jeremy Flores' requirements are going to change when these numbers appear.
Stuart Kennedy on his forehand. There's that deep spot, so the wave kind of flattening out, but Stewie doing pretty well here to keep that board on rail. He really needed this finishing closeout snap there. He went for a layback drop wallet maneuver there. But he got to that section just a second early. Didn't really have that feedback from the lip that he wanted, so came unstuck. Nice wrap here to finish off that barrel from Ace. That should be, you know, maybe a little better than that 6.43.
Out of that discussion, and now he's bumped down to third with inside of 140 to go. Stu Kennedy will pick up this man from Lennox Head, Australia. Deep, lovely bottom turn. We saw him play that game in trestles to beat Josh Kerr in an encounter.
The way he greased that landing was very solid. So the air was nice, little setup snap air. He sees the ramp now, so he's setting up for it. Watch the pop. So a bit of a different air. You know, usually you kind of hit the section horizontally, but he did a bottom turn into that.
Good smart surfing from Adrian Ace Buchan using the rail and gets the win here in heat number 7. Stu Kennedy and Jeremy Flores will think about round 2. This man with clean surfing on his rail is on his way to round 3.